Okay, now in Gitlow versus New York, this was another case. In this case, this was somebody who was advocating the violent overthrow of the government. What kind of law did he break? Yeah, he broke a state law. This is Gitlow versus New York. When he gets arrested by New York, he goes ahead and he argues, hey, this law violates my First Amendment rights. Now, does the First Amendment say that protect his freedom of speech if the state is trying to limit him? Does it?
No. Yeah, no.
Wait, what was the question?
Okay, does the First
Doesn't it depend on what state? Because each state has this.
No, what does the First Amendment say? How does it start off?
This is Congress.
Congress shall make no law. Now he's going ahead and he's saying, hey, look, the First Amendment, you guys are going ahead and you're violating my First Amendment rights.
Congress said it make the law.
Right? And so New York is saying, hey, the First Amendment doesn't even apply to us. It only applies to the federal government. Yeah, that we have our own set of rules. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law. It doesn't say anything about whether we can pass a law limiting freedom of speech, and we've decided that this kind of speech is illegal.
Wouldn't the 14th Amendment protect that?
Well, this is exactly it. Prior to this case, the courts had never ruled on this. Does the 14th Amendment apply in this case? Gitlow versus New York was exactly that case. It was the first time that the federal government went ahead, or the courts went ahead and said, hey, let's look at that issue. Let's look at that question. Does the First Amendment also limit the state government? We know it limits the federal government. It says Congress shall make no law. Does it also mean that the state of New York shall make no law limiting freedom of speech? And what the court said is, you know what? Yeah, the states are bound by the First Amendment because of the 14th Amendment. Because of the 14th Amendment, the limitations on the federal government also limit state governments. Because Congress can't make a law limiting freedom of speech, the state of New York can't limit freedom of speech either because of the 14th Amendment. That was the, does that make sense, Fabian? You were giving me, that's kind of like a, you want me to try that one more time? Okay, so let's, when it was originally passed, the First Amendment starts off by saying, who can't make any laws limiting freedom of speech? Congress, right? So at that moment, when the Bill of Rights were first adopted, could states limit somebody's freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's nothing in the Constitution that prevents states from limiting somebody's freedom of speech. When Gitlow goes ahead and gets arrested, his argument is, hey, you went ahead and you arrested me for advocating the overthrow of the government. I have freedom of speech. The First Amendment says I have freedom of speech. The state of New York says, hey, the First Amendment doesn't apply to us. It says Congress can't make any laws. We can limit free speech however we want to. There's nothing in the First Amendment that limits us. It says Congress shall make no law. We're not Congress. We can make limitations. Does that make more sense? What the court said is, you know what? Wait, New York, yes, in fact, you are bound by the First Amendment. Those limitations that apply to Congress also apply to you through the 14th Amendment. Because of the 14th Amendment, now the First Amendment applies to you. But in Mr. Gidlow's case, they said, yeah, but that doesn't help you any, because you know, if going ahead and encouraging people to oppose the draft was a clear and present danger, advocating the violent overthrow of the government qualifies as well. So they said, yes, the First Amendment limits the states, but the government can limit speech when it poses a clear and present danger. Just the way the federal government could, the state governments can too, and Mr. Gitlow stays in jail.
You know what the sentence is?
No, I don't remember what his sentence was. So then, Eric, getting back to your thing. Prior to this decision, the courts had never said that the First Amendment also limits state governments. After this decision, this became the what? The precedent. From this point forward, anytime somebody got a case where the state government was trying to limit somebody's freedom of speech, they would go back to Gitlow and say, yeah, the state government, the First Amendment also applies to the states. So again, The First Amendment originally did not apply to the states when it came to freedom of speech. It was only once the courts decided in Gitlow versus New York that they said the states are bound by the First Amendment. The way this process of selective incorporation, these decisions have been made case by case, right by right. They didn't just say, oh, by the way, the entire First Amendment applies to the states. They waited for individual challenges and they made rulings, limited rulings. So, back to same-sex marriage, nobody has gone ahead and brought a case to the federal courts just yet. And there's nothing in the Constitution, or they haven't decided that the 14th Amendment protects same-sex marriage. There's been no such ruling. And so this idea of selective incorporation doesn't apply, because first it has to be that the Constitution clearly limits the federal government, and then the question is, does it also apply to the states? It's not clear from the perspective of the courts that prohibiting same-sex couples from getting married violates the Constitution. That's something I suspect will be decided at some point in the future. Okay. Pardon me?
No, I was going to say because of the president.
Well, not because of the president. You know, I'm personally, the reason I think it's going to eventually go to the courts is because of you guys. Because if you look at people's feelings about same-sex marriage, older people tend to be opposed to it. Middle-aged people, myself, are kind of in the middle, but young people are overwhelmingly supportive of it. So as you guys as the old people die, and the middle-aged people become the older people, and you guys become the decision makers, I have a feeling that that's when
They won't put us in power.
We don't have a plan B, dude. So take your notes, okay, man? We don't have a plan B.
They're not putting you in power.
Pardon me?
I said they're not going to put you in power.
You know what? Every generation thinks that the upcoming generation is a piece of crap and doesn't have the same values, doesn't have the right values. I can tell you that across your guys' generation, I feel very comfortable that you guys will eventually be in charge personally.
You feel comfortable with me?
It's not you in particular, but it's other people in the class. Okay, so we have certain civil liberties. We have certain rights, right? And again, that process is called selective incorporation. We have certain civil liberties. We have certain rights that the government cannot go ahead and limit. Or let me not say it that way. They can limit, but they have to go ahead and demonstrate that it's an important reason to do it. All our liberties and all our rights are conditional. We don't have any absolute rights. We don't have freedom of speech where we can say whatever we want, right? It's not freedom of speech means you can say whatever you want. Freedom to practice a religion doesn't mean you can do anything you want by way of practicing a religion and the government isn't going to stop you. All our rights are conditional. They can be limited. The courts will go ahead and permit the federal government and the state government to limit our rights when the state can demonstrate that it has a particular thing.
So we write a particular thing?
No.
No.
Okay.
Typically what we do is we play hangman.
Hey, so that's
There you go.
Was
I'll be done.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this works. So you guys, go ahead, throw out letters. Pardon me?
Z.
Dude, you
Z.
wouldn't fail at hangman. Hey.
There's no Z. There's no A.
Why?
There's gotta be some.
No. So give me.
Because it starts with A.
Okay.
It's not gonna be a vowel.
Give me another.
Give me
S.
An S.
N.
There's an S there. An E.
Well, can't you?
There's one right there.
Can you like do this on the
Yeah,
board?
can you seriously?
No, because I'm videotaping this.
That's stupid
So-
videotape.
There's an E right there.
I'm lost.
Yeah, what is it?
There's an E there. There's E's there.
Where's the O?
There's an O there.
Where's the I?
There's an I there. And there's an I there.
Where's the second I?
The first I. First I is there. The second I is there.
Stress.
N.
Something interest.
Okay, interest is very good.
Compound interest.
Very good. Okay. So interest is the last word.
Compound?
You got to guess letters. No, compound. No.
Oh.
I just thought because
O is here.
yeah, that's why.
What's the first one?
Commission.
We didn't get the first one.
I haven't got the first one yet.
C.
C.
Yeah, commission.
Nice. Nice,
No,
Eric.
it's not common.
Okay.
Conditional?
No.
Unconditional.
Constitution?
Keep guessing.
Congressional.
N.
No, we said A.
Congressin. Because it's
B.
There's no B.
B is in Victor.
There's no V.
Y?
No.
Leader. L.
You guys have the I here, right?
L.
Oh, wait. Did you guys? Okay, so you guys, if you know that the word is interest, okay, so there's an N here. There's also an N here.
That helps.
Constituent? Constituent?
Government.
No.
Oh.
You guys, I, N, what do you think the last letter is?
Interesting.
Say?
G.
G. G. What do you guys have? C, O,
N.
I hate this game.
I have C-O-E-I-N.
Combine.
C, O, not E.
Dude, if it's something I already said.
M, here we go. M,
Compelling.
there we go. Compelling. Now you guys will never forget this. A compelling interest.
That was a tough game.
A compelling interest, yeah, without writing it on the board. And I didn't get to do the little hangman either with the,
We were dead.
Okay, so let's, hold on.
We were going to be like 5 minutes.
Okay,
Painful to watch later.
yeah. For the people watching on video, like,
Yeah,
damn.
you idiot. Your class is dumb.
At one point, I'll do a little panoramic shot of the whole class so they can see, like, damn. Gotta avoid these people if I see them on campus.